Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This video is a part of a series taking a look at Cadence's blocks one by one. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the table of contents block. Let's get started by creating a brand new blank page to look at this block on its own. So there's a couple ways to do this. If you're logged into your website and on the front end, you'll have this top toolbar, hover over New and click on Page. Alternatively, if you're on your dashboard, head over to your left-hand sidebar, down to Pages, and click on Add Page. Okay, so once we're here, just a few housekeeping things. If this right-hand sidebar isn't here, click on this button beside Publish called Settings, and this sidebar will come up, and this is where all of the settings for us to toggle and configure for the block will appear. Next, let's give our page a title, Cadence blocks table contents. Okay, and last but not least, let's finally add the block itself. There's this blue button on the top left here called the block inserter. Click on that, and you either search for it or scroll down. But since Cadence is here, we don't have to go too far. And I believe it's right here, table of contents. Either click on it or drag and drop it anywhere within the workspace. And here's how we use it. So we have our table of contents here, and we have our settings here. So we have our collapsible settings, and we'll take a look at that once we add our headers and title settings and our advanced settings over here. So we can rename this to index or something, and we can't directly edit this. So how do we do anything about that? So we can either add a header here or use our text blocks here, our advanced text blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll have to go into our general settings here. We've saved it as paragraph, but since it needs headings, we'll have heading 1 here. This one will be heading 2, heading 1, and then heading 2, and then heading 3. Okay, so we can type 1 here. It's going to appear there. Heading, 1, 1, heading 2.1, all right, and then you can see here, heading 2, 2, heading, 1, 2, 2.2, heading 3.1. I gave up. So here we can see that we have our headings here based on their HTML tag, and if we put it as a paragraph, it still stays. Probably because we're on our editor here. And let's go ahead and take a look at editing these. So we can exclude certain headers from this. So if we wanted to use heading 1 as like a giant banner or like title between our sections of the page, we can do that and have only heading 2 be on there, right? And we only have these ones on there, so we can't really see them. And we can eliminate heading 3 from our table of contents as well. And then we can enable this as collapsible content, and then we can have it collapsed. And if we clicked on this, we can have it that way. And we can also change our icon, right, like this. And then we can also enable the title to toggle as well as the icon, okay? And it probably doesn't work since we can edit it there. Next, we have our style here. We can enable the title or disable it. We can change the title color. Let's go with hard red. We can make it large, right? We can change the font here, career. We can change the letter spacing. We can add padding. That looks really cool. We can change our list settings. So we can add a gap. We can change the color for our list items. Okay, I'll make it blue. And then if we were going to hover over it, let's make it green. Okay, very tech. I like it. And then we can change the underline to underline and hover. A bit easier to use. You can make this medium. easier to read. We can change our font size, epic, and we can change our letter spacing as well, make it easier to read. And then we have our container settings, and we can add a background to these, and also add a border, make it dotted, make it 4 pixels, and that looks pretty cool. We can also add a box shadow on it, add it inside, and we can add the blur to maybe 16. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Okay, we can inset it or outset it depending on what you want, and you're free to play with those settings. And we have our advanced settings, so padding and then maximum width, right? You can have it like this. Search headings for non-static post content, we can enable that. We can enable smooth scroll to ID. We can enable highlighting heading when scrolling in the active area. And then we can also add this. So I believe it's something to do with that. And our block defaults, we can save this as our default block if we save the certain style for our whole website. We can save it, and every time we bring out this block, it's going to look like this. Of course, the headings are going to change depending on what headings you have on that page in particular. And our additional CSS classes is over here as well. So let's go ahead and click on Publish to save our progress, and let's take a look at the finished product on our live site. Okay, once we're done with that, let's go ahead and click on View Page, and this is how the table of contents looks like on our live site. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.